All right, so we back for part 3, and I wanted to just try this out because it wasn't a huge deal or whatever. It's pretty easy to get to, and ain't cost a whole bunch of money. So anyway, we went to our dear friends at Rock Auto, right? And got us an ignition coil. So this one it was the cheapest one they had. It's not a big deal. If it work, it worked. If not, I ain't mad about it. Greg's Ford Mustang was built with Rock Auto parts. I'm glad they still send these. I ain't gonna lie. I like that Rock Auto still sends these magnets. I got other boxes in the house with stuff for old girl right here. I wonder if each one of them got a magnet in it. We'll see. Anyway, this is the SKP. I think this is called. Is their brand? Yeah, SKP ignition coil. The other one is the other piece that's right near this is ICM. I think it's called like the ignition control module or something like that. So anyway, new part. All right, so it looks anyway pretty easy to get to. So we're gonna put that on there, and I actually remembered today. Bought my good old battery jump box. So brought that today, and we're going to do some I'm gonna test it and see if it start up from this. But if not, then we got a whole game plan. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, here we go. So none of this stuff is tightened. I just put these hoses back in place for the sake of it. Also doing all of the research that I've done, I noticed somebody was saying something about, there's a lot of vacuum going on with this. So I'm gonna have to put the intake on. That could have been a reason that it wouldn't have started. I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna do this part here first, and then I didn't tighten that up. Why are you acting tough? And then we'll see where we go from there. So this looks pretty easy. Like I said, a couple bolts that's mounted here to the one of those things to the headers. These are dummy proof. They can only go on one way. All right. Boom. So you take those two right there off. Pop that off. That don't look bad, but maybe it could be replaced and help us out. Don't know. Wire loom. Alright, so get the tools. You should store it. I think it's like a 9/16 or 15 or something like that. Ooh. Well, probably can't use impacts is what it's looking like. It's pretty tight in there. So give me 1 second. Let me go grab some different tools. We had to bring the chromies out. Let's see if this works. Shit. That motherfucker's still. Ow, bitch, not fitting in there. My doggone elbow. Well, that's probably why it didn't work. Because it's actually more of a 14, 9/16 than a 15. Ha. Anyway. That would be my mistake. So, yeah, that's my bad. Whatever. I thought I saw something that I didn't see. So like I was saying, doing this research or whatnot, I've been coming across a whole bunch of different stuff, possibilities or whatnot. This was one of them. And again, because it was so cheap, I definitely don't mind doing it. And from what I could tell, pretty easy to get to. I gotta find that other bolt. The part itself only ran me $9.97. So shoot, it actually costs more for shipping. Imagine that. So it wasn't a big deal. I can't see that other bolt. I feel like it's supposed to be right here. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So because it didn't cost too much money, I felt like, are these grounds? These are grounds. I felt like, you know, why not? Really ain't hurting nothing. Take a couple days, it'll be here, and we can get to do this. So just to kind of keep tinkering on it. I did not know that these were grounds. So on the left side of the engine, which is the right side of what we're working on right now, these are grounded to the block by this nut that is bolted to the stud that comes off of the heads. So we gotta work that off. I had no idea that those were there. So those just slide off. I could have brought my other tool and clean these up. Okay. We'll do what we can for now. Hopefully it doesn't make a difference. Alright. Let me take that stud out. No big deal. Like I was saying, all of this is on one little bracket. You got the coil, and this is the ignition control module. Let me clean that off just to make me feel better. So we'll dust this off. Looks like original GM. Still got a little part number, and it is the GM part, so that's a plus. Even if they did change it, which they probably have not, which I don't mind. A lot of this stuff will be replaced on this anyway. Probably even down to the engine eventually, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Till then. Alright, trying to make sure y'all can see that. But yeah, 4M05. So looks pretty simple. Huh. That is interesting. How the fuck you get this thing on here? As you see, that looks old, but it looks like, what is that? Is that a rivet? Kind of looks like a rivet on both sides. If that's a rivet, I might be screwed because I don't think I brought the tools. Ooh, good catch. I don't think I brought the tools to be able to get that out, but I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens. All right, you can see. Try to grind those off. I got a bench grinder. Got lucky with that, I guess. So try to grind those off, and I'm gonna give it a shot and punch it out that way. Hope I can find a punch here, because I'm good for not having tools at the house. But let's see if we can get these out. All right, I done set up my little workbench here a little bit, and let me show you what we got. And the reason why I'm showing y'all this is because, again, nobody told me. So anyway, in order to get this off, right, it is riveted. These are or at least they look like rivets to me. It's riveted on there, and I had to use this as a punch along with my hammer to get these out after I used the what's the name of that darn thing, the bench grinder, to grind these down. So when it started moving, this is bolted to that with these. So I would say for anybody that's trying to do this, if you don't know, it's not really a how-to video, but just, you know, being informative. Remove these before you before you cut this off and try to bang this out. Otherwise, it gets caught on this back plate right here. These bolts go through just enough to where it gets caught like so. It'll get caught on that when you're trying to bang that out. So yeah, I want to show y'all that real quick. But what we're going to do here is we'll put this back together. Got my little rivets back in there, and we'll like I said, this thing costs $10, so I don't care that much, but bang those back down in there since I couldn't press it with my hands. No biggie. Put that down in there, and we put this here. Line that up. All right. Get your all right. Cool. Now we can go here. Put that there. And put our RCM back in place. Now I will say, if you're not well versed in the art of using a gun, people will say don't do that, but I do all right. You don't want to kill it, just enough to seed it. And if you don't like that I use a gun to put this on there, don't judge me. That's the best. That's the best I can do for you right now. So all right, let's put this back on the car. Let's see what we get. So we're gonna put this back on the same way it came off. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. And yeah, stud, not stud. Still haven't come up with a name for this yet, and I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Maybe once I hear it run and drive it, I could come up with a name or something. But so far, I still ain't landed on nothing yet. So I don't know, man. It might be a little more difficult to pick a name out than I thought. If you have any ideas, feel free. Leave it in the comments. You don't want to go too tight with these. You don't have to, really. You can see them, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't, because, hey, I might have to take this back off again. So then we'll put our grounds on there. Got 3 grounds. Because you never know what needs to be grounded. Which for me, I have no idea what these grounds are for. Gotta be for something important, they there. So, let's do... Okay. These rabbits out here having a blast. Alright. I'm at one with nature. Let's put these back on. It's 3 of them. I wonder if they noticed that I'm here, because they for sure just ran by me like it wasn't nothing. Kind of throwing me off. Maybe I really am at one with nature. Alright. For some reason, I'm not having any luck getting these 2 plugs here in. They do not. Oh, maybe because it's new. Eee, virgin. Push them hard. Maybe. That first one, I had to push pretty hard. This one right here acts like no for sure. Golly. Let me see here. I gotta put a little extra oomph on it. Jeez. Golly. That's supposed to be like that? Man, if I had to take that back off, that's gonna suck. I really had to put some effort into that. Man, I should have used some lube or something. Never a bad idea to use dielectric grease. Probably should have used that. But I would just like to think that I'm doing good enough. At least for what I'm shooting for here, which is a start. So we got our ignition coil on, bolts back together, plugged in. Even though it took some doing to get those back plugged in, use some force. All right, let's put these back on. Now I'll actually tighten them and wonder how this flows. Does this go up and over or under? Man, it sucks not ever having to utilize one of these. Or maybe that goes through here or something. Maybe it's like that. We'll see. Alright, so I'm doing that just to give ourselves some breathing room, since they say that leaving these things here off could cause it not to run. All right, so maybe that goes there. Is that like that? Pull it up. Look at that. We might be on to something. That there. That there. And yeah. We shall put this here. And let's tighten them down, at least a little bit. We'll at least get them snug. Nope. That's an 8. The other one must be a 1/4 inch. Sure. Okay. Oh, my bad. I didn't even realize I had that zoomed in like that. Oh, I forgot. Let me say that. All right, let's try a 1/4 inch on there. Nope. Eight too big. 9/32 too big. Must be a 7. 7's too big. What friggin' size is that? You know what? We're just going to get ourselves a flathead screwdriver because nothing is fitting correctly anyway. We'll tighten that up. And it could have been a snap real quick, and I could have been done with that part. tighten that. Okay, everything looks to be in place. Let me hook my jump box up. All right. Let me grab the key too. That might help. All right, so moment of truth. We got our ignition coil, our new ignition coil on, plugged in, and ready to go. So we about to see if we finally get some fire to this. I'm not big on throwing parts at stuff if I can help it, but again, this thing was $9.97. The shipping cost more. The shipping was like $11 or something like that. So it's not a big deal, not for me. Just to see what happens, and then once we see what happens, we can move forward. Let's get some fire to this. Let's see what we get. Let me say it like that. All right, got our box on. Moment of truth. The second moment of truth. All right, so as we just saw, we got nothing. Really good crank, and we still don't got nothing. So the next order of business is going to be, dang, that cut me pretty good. The next order of business is going to be dealing with that OptiSpark. We don't know, again, any or everything that's been done to this thing. So what I'm doing is really going through the process of elimination to do what I can without all of the major tools, I guess you could call it, because there is definitely a spark tester that I just don't want to spend the money on. There's also a trigger that I could buy, and I refuse to buy it, that I could hook up to just press a button and get it to start, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, this is what it is. So yeah, we're just going to go down a list of the possibilities of wrongness, and I can smell the gas up here. So the gas is being delivered. That's not an issue that we're having up here. As we saw, you know, I was spraying starter fluid on one of them videos. I think that was the second video. I was spraying starter fluid in there, and I still didn't get anything. It was suggested to me that I spray starter fluid inside, like open the ports and allow it to go in there like that. But I mean, it's the same deal to me. I know y'all didn't see me actually do that, but it was enough in there that when I opened those up with the throttle, it sept I don't know, past tense, sept its way in there, and it still didn't work. So because of what we know about it, or the car itself, the engine and the workings of it, we are going to move on to the next thing. Eventually, all of this stuff was going to be replaced anyway, so I honestly don't mind doing this. So, you know, feel free to judge, but don't judge me too harshly. Like, this is what makes it fun for me. Again, I don't necessarily like throwing parts at stuff, but because we're not getting what we're supposed to get, and from what we know as far as what we've diagnosed it to be, why not, is the way that I feel about it. So again, we bought this sight unseen. We did not know what was going on with it. We had no idea what has been done to it. So, you know, we going through all of the basics, and that's kind of what I wanted to do anyway. You know, that makes it more mine. So we're gonna do the optics part. We're gonna get that. We are going to get new plugs. Well, not new plugs, because the plugs has been changed, but we'll get the wires for the Opti Spark and mess with that. That's gonna be a fun time routing all of those from front to back, but we'll get it done. Did I say starter already? If I didn't, starter. And the Opti Spark itself. I feel like I'm missing something. I can't remember. So we're getting the Opti Spark, we're getting the wires, and we're getting a starter. Those are our next orders of business. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get that ICM too, that ignition control module. Why not? It's there. Not a big deal, not hard to get to. So we'll change everything that has to or have to deal with the ignition right now, and then we'll move on with that. So until next time, people, I'm here, and we're gonna continue this until we get this bad boy running under her own power.